As a young lady growing up in Nigeria, I have always been fascinated about business. I have always wanted to know how people became rich, how they were able to make a lot of money and accumulate a lot of wealth. It's something that have always fascinated me. Although I went into sciences, as some of you may know, my first degree is in chemical engineering. At the end of the day, I end up teaching business because it's something that have always fascinated me, and that is why I went to study my master's, went on to study my PhD, and now I'm a lecturer. But that's not what this video is about. It's about one of the first book that I actually read that gave me the basic understanding of business and how money is generated, and that is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Any of you who know anything about personal finance or the personal finance space, even when you talk to millionaires or even billionaires, one of the first things that they say is one of the books that influenced them is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and that is what we're going to discuss in this video. So hi guys, welcome to the Smiling Professor, where learning is fun. Today we're going to discuss the 5 basic business lessons you learn from Rich Dad Poor Dad. The first one is money is a tool and it's not a bad thing. Growing up, a lot of people had a lot of opinions on money. Some of them saw it as a good thing, some of them saw it as a bad thing. A lot of people attach a lot of emotions to money, but reading this book made me understand that money is just a tool. It is not a good thing or a bad thing. It is just a tool, and it depends on how you use it. It is a tool that can help you within your life. It is a tool that makes living within your community better. So it is neither a bad thing, and not everyone who is rich had to do something evil or something bad. This train of thought was really important, because if you see money as a bad thing and only bad people make money, subconsciously you would not want to be rich. Subconsciously you would not want to make money, especially if you don't want to be bad. So it is important to see money for what it is, a means of exchange. It is not a good thing, neither is it a bad thing. It is just a means of exchange. Another important lesson I learned reading Rich Dad Poor Dad is the difference between an asset and a liability. So a lot of people don't know the difference. Once they get money, they go and buy cars, non-appreciating jewelries, they go and buy a lot of things that are not assets. Assets are things that generate money for you. So if the product you bought is not generating money for you, it is a liability. It is not an asset, and this is a very important lesson to learn in your money journey. So for things like cars, they depreciate in value. What this means is that immediately you drive that car out of the dealership, the money you pay for it is not the same money you'll be able to resell it for. So you must understand this. You must understand the basic difference between an asset and a liability. So you can spend your money buying assets and not liability. So assets are things like houses that can appreciate in value. Let's say jewelries that appreciate in value, things like gold, diamonds, things like that. Over time, their value increases. So therefore, you can sell it for more money. This is one of the things that reading this book taught me. You must understand the difference between assets and liabilities. A lot of people, because of social media, the pressure from social media, want to keep up with people, and they spend all their money buying luxury items that may not appreciate in value. This is not a smart idea, especially if you are planning for your future money, especially if you're planning to accumulate money in the future. You should spend your money buying assets. Another lesson I learned from reading this book is work to learn and don't always work for money. So depending on the stage you are in life, I totally understand this. If you have a family, you might not have the luxury of doing this, a family that depends on you. But if you are in the early stage of your life and you can afford to do this, you can work to learn, to work to get experience, and don't always work for money. So I'll give you an instance. So let's say you have just finished your accounting degree and you get a chance to work for a company, and let's say your future salary that you were imagining in your head when you were still a student was 300,000 naira per month. But you get this opportunity, it's your first job after school, and you're paying you just 100,000. My advice would be to take it, especially if you do not have financial obligation. What you can do in this situation is to actually learn on the job, learn the practical skills you would need to become a good accountant. So get the skills that you actually need, and after a couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years, when you have acquired the skill you think you need, then you can now apply for the 300,000 naira job. Don't give up the opportunity just because it is not paying the money you anticipated. It is okay to learn on the job. With regards to Rich Dad Poor Dad, if you remember, Robert had to work for his best friend's father, and that is when he was learning how money works and how business works. At first, the man wasn't paying them, but they were able to learn on the job. So sometimes work to learn and don't always work for money. Another lesson I learned from reading this book is that the rich don't work for money, their money work for them. So what I realized is that becoming rich is actually a journey. There is very few people in the world that were able to become rich in less than 5 or 10 years. It is a journey. It takes time. And this is something that most people have to understand. It takes time, it takes effort. And what happens is that most of them start their wealth journey early, and over the years they are able to accumulate wealth. And when they are able to generate enough money, they use this money to buy assets, and over time these assets generate profits for them. And now they take the money that they make from these profits and reinvest it, and that is how the money is working for them. But the important part to note here is that it takes time. You cannot just be finishing school and hoping to buy an asset of 1 million naira or 10 million naira, except you came from a wealthy family. For those people who come from rich homes, or they have rich family members or even rich friends, they might be able to do this. But if you were not born with a silver spoon, there is no way you'll be able to buy this kind of houses or this kind of assets immediately you finish school. This is something that most people should understand. Becoming rich is a journey. It is a journey. Anyone that is promising you that you are going to make 10 million naira from one deal, bring 100,000 to bring 10,000 to bring 5 people that will get you 10 million naira, maybe a scam. Most times they are. A lot of things are happening now in Nigeria where people are complaining of being scammed by one company or the other. Be careful. Becoming wealthy is a journey. The people you see that have wealth immediately or have wealth instantly, most of them come from rich homes. Most of them have connections. Most of them have things that you may not have access to. So understand this fact and give yourself grace. Becoming wealthy is a journey. If you're liking this video so far, please click the like button and leave a comment down in the comment section below, because it helps boost the video. And don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Now let's go back to our topic of discussion. The last lesson I learned from reading Rich Dad Poor Dad is, if business is your ultimate goal, try and start early. If you read this book, you would have read the sad story of Robert's biological dad not succeeding in business because he was not a man who had the business skills and knowledge, because he has always worked for someone. So his whole plan was, after retirement, to start a business, and the business did not succeed because he didn't have the basic skill to actually run a business. What is the lesson in this story? You need to make sure that if opening a business is something you have in your retirement plan, you start early. This gives you the advantage of failing early, learning from your failure and improving your skills. You cannot just hope that after you retire, because of what you read or what you've seen, you're just going to take millions of naira or thousands of naira to go start a business. There is no guarantee that it would succeed. Most of the best business entrepreneurs in the world actually failed at some point. So you have to fail early and be able to learn from your failures. If business is one of the things you're hoping to do when you retire, my advice for you is to start early. So start early, start small. Don't take all your savings to just open business. One of my basic principles for business, although a lot of people disagree with me, is to start as small as possible, because the probability of you making it in your first business is really low, and it's something that you can always scale up. You don't have to invest a lot of capital into that business. So this is where we're going to end this video today. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Please let me know in your comments down below. If there's any topics you want me to discuss, let me know in the comments down below. I want to say thank you to those of you who's watched till the end of this video. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red button below. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to share my video, click the notification bell so you always know when I upload. Thanks guys, see you next week. Bye guys.